The Rebel Alliance was the freedom movement that brought down the Empire. However, who backed the Alliance, and who paid for this shadow war?
Alderaan.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
Now, as is the problem with many rebellions, the big problem is funding. The Empire was an autocracy and was incredibly clear with how it dealt with its enemies. For this reason, anyone who wanted to help fund insurgencies did so at incredible risk, and we need to look at the people who openly opposed the Empire. Of course, we have the rebels themselves. These were largely just civilians who hated what the Empire did, and small insurgencies such as the Lothal rebels would originally be forced to either personally fund their rebellion or steal supplies from their enemies in order to fuel their fight. However, this lacks scale. To fight the Empire on a galactic level like the war was, you need more ships, bigger ships, artillery, industrial equipment to found bases, and lots of weapons. So, who funded all of this? Well, the natural enemy of the Empire was the Separatists, or ex-military leaders. Now granted, most Separatists turned coat as soon as the war was lost and began to cozy up to the Empire. However, some didn't. Some of these went to hide in strongholds, however some decided to fight. Remember, many Separatists were wealthy businessmen who knew a republic was far more profitable than the Empire with its strict regulations and high taxes. Now, granted, these were nowhere near as powerful as they were during their prime in the lead up to the Clone Wars, but they still had an abundance of assets such as weapons and ships that would prove useful to the Alliance. Then we have arms dealers. Okay, now this is more of a speculation, but the Empire had a pretty sizable war machine, and they'd never stopped building it up until there was no threat left. So, the arms manufacturers who profited heavily from this would naturally want the conflict to continue, and therefore would likely choose to donate arms to the rebels' cause in order to make the Empire further expand its own military at great expense. So they'd donate weapons to the rebels and see a return far larger from the Empire to combat it. Finally, we have the senators. Now, these almost had no power in the Empire, it was really more of a vanity position, but many senators remembered when they did have power, and when democracy actually worked, more or less. For this reason, some senators, particularly those in the delegation of 2000, would secretly fund these cells in hope that it would break the Imperial's tyranny, or at least bring hope to the oppressed. This was of course very risky, and the Empire would act harshly to anyone who opposed them. For this reason, assistance was covered up by faking theft and editing the books, if you will, so odd shipments would go missing.
What are you doing?
Stop that rebel! He's stealing my transport! Make it look good.
Oh, we gotta make this look good.
You have my permission.
See you later, princess.
You lost my ships.
I'm afraid so.
Thing is, I doubt Palpatine and the Imperial Command didn't know about this. You see, only so many shipments can be stolen or go missing before an organisation like Imperial Intelligence notices that something's awry. However, the Empire, not wanting to start an uproar, would let it happen, at least for the early stages of the rebellion. Many believe it was the Organa's heavy investment in the Alliance that was the source for Alderaan's destruction. Do you believe someone as cunning as Wilhuv Tarkin would destroy a planet just because Leia lied to him? No, it's because the Empire knew that the Organa had ties with the Alliance and would rather destroy a planet than have them help the rebellion, despite the consequences. Ultimately, the Rebel Alliance was funded by brave individuals who risked an incredible amount by doing so, some for the good of the galaxy and some for personal gain. However, without their help, the Alliance would likely never have grown to the scale it did to overthrow the Empire.